I'm not happy today. You guys know why? Because minutes ago, I heard about a threat happening. Not just any threat to a school, it was to a black student. I said this before, I'm not tolerating race. I don't do racism on the show. Which is why I crossed the line talking about the input association test. But then this popped up. Teen's video threatening to kill black classmates. It shakes up in Canton schools. Now what I've learned has happened in March. That video was distributed. I want to forewarn this for you guys. This video you're about to hear is clearly inappropriate for young viewers. Please ask your children to leave the room. And I'm serious. You really don't want your kids watching this. And it's not going to be fun for you to see it. But we have to be aware of what our kids are doing, what they're posting on the internet. Okay, here is the report.
This troubling video has struck a nerve amongst African Americans in the Plymouth Canton community. It appears to show a white high school student threatening to shoot and lynch African Americans, all while repeatedly calling them racial slurs.
I'm not able to give details. There is not an active threat, I will say, at our school at this moment.
Plymouth Canton Community School Superintendent Monica Merritt addressed the video during a board meeting and in a letter to parents and students Monday night, saying, "We do not condone or tolerate reprehensible acts of this nature."
Exactly!
The video first surfaced in early March and was later reshared on social media.
I can't even tell you in the past few days since this video has released how many times I've been called the N-word. When we don't have swift action after these events, this spreads even further.
PCCS students and parents gave the school board an earful at Tuesday night's meeting, many asking if the student in question was disciplined and how black students are supposed to feel safe at school after this.
This has red flags all over it. I don't want this type of student around my child who is so very apparent to be able to say whatever they want about killing people who look like me.
Students say there's been other racist incidents within the district. Jacob Jackson says so much so, they've become numb to it.
It's not surprising. It's not surprising. This has happened countless times, and that's why it has happened countless times, because the same thing occurs over and over. And then we have it to where we get used to things like this, and we get desensitized to things like this.
Merritt stated in her letter Monday, when this matter was initially brought to the attention of the Plymouth Canton Educational Park Administration, it was investigated immediately and addressed with the students involved. We will not under any circumstances ignore these matters and will continue to work to eliminate these harmful and destructive behaviors and beliefs. Now guys, Canton PD says that they are investigating this matter, and once they're done with it, they plan on sending the findings of this investigation to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office.
And we will be there to tell you more. But I'm pissed off right now. This shit would happen. Because if it happened in my school, I wouldn't want my cousins or any of my fans being around that piece of crap. He's a racist. And if he thinks it's a joke, if he wants to make excuses it's a joke, it's not a joke. This is the real deal here. What he did was wrong, and you parents out there who say that, oh, this, that, he's a good kid. Like I said, well, it would be like making a perfect circle in the mark. And as a former student myself who went to school as a graduate in 2016, I'm pissed. Something like this happened. This happened. If a student fly below did the same thing, I'd be all over it like flies on pie. And what about the parents? What did the parents say? We don't know what the parents said. I bet he'll have his time in jail or in juvie depending on his age. So far, the student has not been identified. The school is investigating, and the police are investigating this, which is good. But I'm very angry that someone would shoot, someone would threaten and shoot an African American because of this issue. But words cannot express how I feel. You may be saying, well, what's he doing? He's siding with the kid? No, I'm angry. I'm pissed off at him because of what he did. You guys want to think I'm on his side? No, I'm not on the side of this kid. I'm on the side of the school and the police who are investigating this. And the whole reason that is because of what he needs to understand what he did was wrong. So I want this to be a lesson for you guys. Actions have consequences. As a parent, you understand that. You understood that when you were kids. I understand that when I was a kid. And it worked out great. These kids don't understand that. These kids don't understand this lesson. So let this clip be a lesson to you. Actions have consequences. And doing stuff like this can land you in jail. Coming up next, what we now know about the Las Vegas student, Jonathan Martinez Garcia, who is now in jail. New evidence has now popped up. We'll tell you that when we return. Yesterday, I started giving you details into a case that happened last week. Last week, Jonathan Martinez Garcia, attempted murder, sexual assault, first degree to sexual assault, battery, burglary, armed robbery. Jonathan Martinez is now charged with it. And yesterday I gave you full details about this case. Now today there is new testimony. There is new evidence.
Are expected to show.
There's new evidence about
up with
this.
signs and posters.
And just today there's now a protest happening. So let's take a look.
Just 2 hours, hundreds of teachers are expected to show up with signs and posters in hand. Now, many of them tell me that last week's incident at El Dorado High School was the last straw, and now they're hoping that CCSD leadership will step up to protect them. 16-year-old Jonathan Martinez Garcia spent his Tuesday morning inside of a courtroom.
They may hold him without a bail setting.
Instead of a classroom. The teenager is behind bars, facing more than a dozen felony charges after police say he sexually assaulted his teacher and then tried killing her with a charging cord and a pair of scissors.
We just want to make sure that people
That's what we
understand
know. That's the new
human
thing.
beings and their people's lives. This young woman who was attacked, her life will never be the same.
Vicky Crydell has been a teacher for more than 2 decades. She says she and so many of her colleagues have reached a boiling point. For her, safety in school is almost non-existent.
You can't cross your fingers and hope for the best. What happened last week shows you that's not going to work.
Now hundreds of CCSD teachers are demanding change, saying that the new safety measures the district is trying to implement has come too little, too late.
They haven't done enough. Whatever talks have happened is not enough. It is too late for committees. It's too late for town halls.
In an exclusive interview with KTNV, District Attorney Steve Wolfson said the goal now is to take more action.
No teacher, nobody that works in the school system should be subjected to this kind of behavior. I think there needs to be more talk and more action. I know that there's a lot of people asking for more school police, and maybe that's a good idea.
Right, well, back out here live, you are looking at a security camera. Cameras just like that one are going to be placed at every single entrance of El Dorado High School when students and teachers return to campus next week after spring break. The district also plans on giving teachers emergency buttons that they can use to call 911. Now, this morning's protest expected to start at 8:30. We will be here and we'll bring you more updates at midday. But for now, reporting live in Spring Valley, I'm Melissa Betancourt.
Well, it's almost been like 5 hours since this. Has there been a protest? We probably won't know, but we'll keep you posted on this, and we'll probably give it to you tomorrow back in the field. If the wind doesn't hit. And by the way, I want to apologize before we continue on, I want to specifically apologize for not planning out this out. I mean, I had it all planned out when it was wind. I had Gorilla Tape. I had a pair of scissors. I had Gorilla Tape for to keep it from falling because of the wind. I didn't know it was going to be that windy, so I specifically apologize for that. Next time we do outdoor shows, I will check the weather. If I have to go back to the studio or find an indoor place to where the wind doesn't hit, possibly I will. But turning now to COVID, possibly new cases. I mean, yesterday there was 2 cases each at Flat Bluff. Oops. One case elementary, another case in primary. One student, one staff. One staff, one student. That's how it was. 2 schools with separate. So, I guess you can argue with that. But now, what's going to happen right now is that Philadelphia's next week is going back to the mask mandate, according to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Do I trust him? Well, if I have to trust professionals who will, well, I don't think so. Some people may be asking why. It's basically, I don't trust him because if he wants to issue mask mandates, it's his right. And incidentally, if I was that person if I was in his shoes, I would be doing the same thing. But this case was all about grades. And like I said yesterday, if Jonathan Martinez Garcia hadn't approached him nicely, he would have had a strangling cord. He would have and said, "Hey, can we talk about our grades?" And she would have said no. Instead, then said, "Okay, I'll come back tomorrow before class." But what I said yesterday, I mean, I really meant it. He's now sitting in jail. But now there's more charges added. So let's take a look at this one.
Well, updated charges for the student accused of sexually assaulting and trying to kill a teacher at El Dorado High School. Police say this happened on campus last Thursday afternoon. 16-year-old Jonathan Martinez Garcia is facing attempted murder, sexual assault, and battery charges along with robbery, burglary, and kidnapping. He's set to appear in court for the first time tomorrow.
And now we know. And this is a new one that happened.
Right now at 4, our first look at the 16-year-old student accused of strangling, beating, and sexually assaulting his teacher. According to an arrest report from Metro, the teen claimed he, quote, didn't like teachers and was getting revenge. Thank you for joining us at 4. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
And I'm Christian Cáceres. 16-year-old Jonathan Martinez Garcia appeared in court today and he faces 15 felony charges. According to that report obtained by the 8 News Now I-Team, Garcia is an 11th grader at El Dorado High School. Police say he went to the teacher's classroom last Thursday to discuss missing assignments before attacking the young woman. Garcia is being processed as an adult, but it was determined today he'll need to be evaluated by at least 2 doctors to determine his competence.
The person has to be competent in order for us to proceed against them. But that's not stopping us from continuing to proceed in a course of achieving justice for this victim.
Right now, Garcia is being held on a $500,000 bail. Now, you can find the full arrest report on our website, 8newsnow.com.
And we'll look at that arrest report when we come back. Today we're learning more about Jonathan Martinez Garcia, who is now charged with with sexual assault, 15 count sexual assault, battery, armed robbery, burglary, and attempted murder. And just today, just yesterday, there was a police report being released. The arrest report released Tuesday detailed the alleged attack. The victim told investigators she was going over grades and Martinez when he started to choke her from behind with a rope or string. Now, it was a cord. The teacher described trying to fight back, asking Martinez Garcia why he was attacking her. He called Jonathan, telling her had something like multiple personalities. Although Jonathan really liked her, he didn't like teachers. He was getting revenge. At one point, he allegedly tried to crush her under a cabinet and cut her wrist. According to the report, the teacher told police she tried to play dead so that Martinez Garcia would leave. The detectives interviewed Martinez Garcia, who said he went to a teacher's class to discuss viewing a tardy in the class. He later said, "I remember now," and admitted to attacking the teacher, saying he choked her with a cable described as a computer charger. Police also interviewed one of Martinez Garcia's parents, who said he had not been diagnosed with any medical or mental conditions. The parents said he had been depressed over the past few months, but would not discuss anything. But the Clark County District Attorney, who attended yesterday's court hearing, said the allegations are an example of violent behavior that we have to do something about in schools. But he declined to discuss whether Martinez Garcia has a juvenile record. So, this is what confused me. We have a case of tardy and we have a case about tardy and we have a case about grades. So now he remembers. This is a case of multiple personality disorder. That's what this case is all about, multiple personality disorder. It's to where another mind talks to the other mind about this and that, the other. Actually, the actual definition of that is known as, it's a mental disorder characterized by the maintenance of at least two distinct and relatively enduring personality states. It's accompanied by memory gaps beyond what would be explained by ordinary memory issues. So in Martinez's case, the other person wanted to strangle her. But now he's under health order by 2 doctors. That's what the court said. And in 3 weeks from Friday, we'll give you the very latest. But has there been other school threats besides what we talked about? Besides the one that we talked about? But besides what happened in that video we saw earlier, with a white student threatening to shoot black people, has there been any other threats? Well, yes. In Texas, an El Paso teen faces felony charges in Parkland Middle School. A juvenile, 14-year-old boy, was charged after he posted a video on social media threatening to harm others at Parkland Middle School. The police say they received information from a Yesla Independent School District of a social media post that threatened a school shooting. Following an investigation, the teen was taken into custody for the threat made against the school on Thursday. The image of the weapon with the caption, "Shooting up Parkland Middle School tomorrow, 4/8/22. Don't come if you don't want to be shot," circulated online. The police said the boy admitted to the detectives that he created a threatening message but did not intend for the message to go viral. Duh! He's going to jail. He made the threat. He was charged with a false alarm report, a state jail felony due to the threat he made against the public school. Police are reminding the public that all threats to schools will be investigated. School threats are not a joke. Think of the consequences before making any threats. We all have a conscience on our shoulder. Always let your conscience be your guide. That's the key here. And today, a Reedsport school district closed due to a threat. In Oregon, all schools within the Redport school district will be canceled today due to a threat, according to the superintendent. According to the district post, the Red Sea Police Department was notified of another threat of violence. Police were unable to identify who sent the messages, level threat, and they do not have more information to share. In order to ensure the safety of the students and staff, they are following the police department's recommendation to close down. The superintendent announcements advised parents to send their children to school, not send their children to school, and told school district employees not to report to work. If there's anyone information, you can report to the police immediately. And we'll keep you posted on this as well. There's also another threat happening in Lake County. A teen handed a teacher a school shooting conviction. In Groveland, a Lake County teenager has been arrested after police said he threatened to shoot his classmates. According to Groveville police, officers were called to Gray Middle School on April 11th, which was 2 days ago, on a report that a 14-year-old boy handed a written threat to his teacher. Investigators determined the teen had recently been in a fight outside school. Officials said he had since been involved in several instances with students on campus and was being bullied. The teen told officers that on Monday someone came up to him and began to tease him about losing the fight. According to a report, the teen wrote, I'm gonna shot classmate and his friends. I'm tired of them, and handed the note to his teacher. When questioned by school officials about the note, the teen immediately said he was serious that he has access to guns in his home. The boy was arrested on the offense of written threats to kill. Okay? Listen, if you're being bullied, that's not the way to solve problems. You need to talk to an adult. Here's what you need to do. You need to go to the principal and say, hey, if you're being threatened, you need to talk to your principal and say, hey, I'm being threatened. Hey, I'm being bullied. Can you please do something about it? Blah, 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 blah. And know something about it. 3 students between the ages of 12 and 13 years old have been detained after officials notified in Arkansas 3 students were arrested. Police told research parents talking to their children about the dangers of written and verbal threats in school, as well as the serious consequences of their actions. Update the story is available. And another one. Teen arrested over Parkland Middle School threat. Oh, we already talked about that. And the police department says the middle school is safe after threat to harm list was created. And this was the update from yesterday. The Jacksonville Police Department has arrested 2 12-year-olds and 13-year-old juveniles been charged with threatening to commit an act of mass violence on school property. Code 513302. JPD would like to urge parents to talk to their children about dangers of written verbal threats. This was the original post. And it's against the law. Listen, for several months we've been reporting on threats I've been reporting on threats in our schools and urging parents to talk to their kids. Well, this takes the cake here. Makes me angry that I would see something happen like this. But parents are not doing enough. They're not monitoring their kids' social media. They're not monitoring. What they're doing is just sitting there allowing it to happen. They're not doing enough. All right, change of pace now. When we come back, some sad news to report. If you know Gilbert Gottfried, you may know him as the role of Aladdin. And if you know him from Superboy as Nick Mac. Just yesterday, probably days ago, he died. Here's what Inside Edition told us.
No, 1,000 times, no!
Legendary comedian Gilbert Gottfried has died. The sad news was announced in a statement on his Twitter account.
which said that Gottfried had died after a long illness.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear the sound of my voice.
The SNL alum was perhaps best known for his loud, piercing voice, which landed him plenty of work, most famously in Disney's Aladdin.
Boy, Jafar's gonna be happy to see you.
Gottfried was beloved in the comedy world for his material, which was, how to put it, not always polite.
Joan Rivers is not really roastable, she's crematable. At her age, just basically burn her to ashes and put her in an urn and put it on top of the fireplace.
Gottfried made several memorable appearances at roasts, particularly at the Friars Club roast of Hugh Hefner, in which he told what some have called the filthiest joke ever, a bit known as the Aristocrats.
Then the daughter starts out the father, then the father on the floor, the mother on the floor, the dog on the floor. They all jump down into the and they start each other.
Gottfried continued to do stand-up gigs, voice work, and appear on podcasts right up until the end of his life. His family statement concluded, quote, "Although today is a sad day for all of us, please keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor." Survived by his wife and 2 children, Gilbert Gottfried was 67 years old.
And I love him to this day. Even as Iago, knick-knack from Superboy. Now on to something that you may remember. A teacher saves a choking 3rd grader's life. How did it happen? Take a look.
A boy started choking while trying to open a water bottle. His teacher knew exactly what to do. As Emma Cagliano reports, this is just the latest incident of a teacher saving the day.
A heart-stopping moment in a 3rd grade math class. A child is choking on a water bottle cap. Terrified, he runs to a sink to try to cough it loose, but it just won't come out. Then he races over to his teacher, Janice Jenkins, who has never had to do the Heimlich maneuver before. But she knows how. 1 thrust, 2, 3, and the child's life is saved in front of the entire class.
In the moment, I was just like, okay, he needs my help. You get this training, you know that it's important to have the training, but you never really think that you're gonna have to use the training.
It happened at a charter school in East Orange, New Jersey. 9-year-old Robert Stonecker couldn't get a water bottle cap off, so he put it in his teeth and squeezed. Bad idea. The cap blew off and lodged in his throat. It's the latest in a spate of incidents involving choking children. Every week in America, a child dies in a choking accident, and 12,000 kids are treated in emergency rooms for choking injuries every year. Last month, 10-year-old Ryan Buckner began choking on a corn dog in a school cafeteria in Illinois. Substitute teacher Sadie Carwile, sitting just a few feet away, kept her cool and went into action.
Finally, when the food projected, I turned around, the color came back in his face, and I knew everything was okay.
Her heroics earned enthusiastic applause from the other students. And just last week in North Carolina, a sheriff's deputy was on hand to save the life of a 12-year-old girl who was choking on some candy. Children are especially vulnerable to choking accidents.
Rushing through lunch, trying to stuff all the lunch in their mouth at one time, and then they're not chewing properly. They're so excited to move on to the next thing and enjoy time with their friends, and that's how they often end up choking.
Meanwhile, Robert says he's very grateful to his teacher.
What would you like to say to your teacher after all of this?
I love you.
In an incredible stroke of good luck, Ms. Jenkins had just taken the refresher course in first aid.
That was a great ending, and it's a great ending to our show. Tomorrow night, we're back at the field. That's right, if you heard correctly, we're back at Horn Field for another home game. And I will be there, even if it's windy. I will provide you with the latest issues and give you the very latest on various issues. And sometimes people ask me, what's this show about? Well, tomorrow I will tell you. But before we go, all month long, we're going to celebrate. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary, which is going to be happening in a few weeks. So another look. So here's number 3 at the countdown is when I did our first morning show. Great time. And another one, number 4, was when I ate while I work. That's another moment. So tune in tomorrow at the field for another outrageous Give Me a Break and the next number. And the next number as we continue our countdown. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Wednesday. We'll see you again back at the field tomorrow for Give Me a Break Thursday. And for all of us here on YouTube and Give Me a Break, if I don't see you, happy Easter and have a nice day.